As far as I know, the Jewish and black people in the United States have always had a linkage or a sensibility to one another that has meant we have often been in the same struggle for change. So I have known this probably all my life, since at least high school. In terms of the politics of things, I have known that for 100 years, in the presidential years of our elections in the United States, the Jewish community and the black community have voted always on the same side. We both know what it means, what it is meant to be in the United States with an invitation to be here that is hostile. And if we have not thought that there was a wide enough difference between two presidential candidates, we knew on which side we had the better chance of continuing to dismantle the hostility and to allow the United States to become more of the country it needed to become. I think that came to a head in the 1950s and 60s, the late 1950s and 60s, as in fact a new dimension in struggle for black people came into being. The school decision of May 17, 1954, where for the first time Thurgood Marshall and the NAACP got the Supreme Court to make a unanimous decision that segregation does not permit equality. Jim Crow law obliterates the possibility. Segregation law and spirit and custom is in contradiction to the Constitution. That between 1789 and May 17, 1954, the Supreme Court has only given largely negative decisions to black people, to women, to Asian people, to Indians. So that Supreme Court decision of 1954 is what caused the emergence in many ways of a new spiritual awareness among all kinds of black people and Jewish people. We knew in the black community that the Eurocentric communities in the United States were largely too supportive of anti-Semitism and racism. I knew that. Our most important allies, I think this can be said, the most important allies for the nonviolent movement of America, 1953 to 1973, and the most important allies in the South, where I lived for 17 years and worked directly with Martin Luther King Jr. in the development of that movement. Our most important white allies were Jewish people. Many could not speak out and did not speak out, but a lot of their leadership where I worked, in Birmingham, in St. Augustine, Florida, in Nashville, Tennessee, where I lived for a time, in Memphis, Tennessee, where I lived for 12 years in the struggle. The Jewish community were our most sensitive and human allies. There were fears in the Jewish community that too close identity would cause an outburst of anti-Semitism, which is true. But the sensitivity to that alliance was a problem for the whole nation. Because in the white community, any white person who identified with desegregation, with multi-ethnicity, with the fact that there is such a thing as an interfaith dimension of life to which we should all belong, in the white community, it would be very horrendous in 1960 to identify with that ecumenical spirit, with that interfaith spirit.